Hello and welcome to Renfro Library's Guide to Distinguishing Between Primary and Secondary Sources. In this video, we'll define these two types of sources, look at some examples that can help show you the difference, and we'll review some questions that can help you identify a source during the course of your research. Let's start by looking at some definitions from an authoritative source. According to the Library of Congress, primary sources are the raw materials of history, original documents and objects that were created at the time under study, while secondary sources are accounts that retell, analyze, or interpret events, usually at a distance of time or place. To put it even more briefly, primary sources are first-hand accounts, and secondary sources are second-hand. While these definitions may seem straightforward, when you're sifting through sources, the distinction may not always be clear. Let's take a look at some examples. Some primary sources can include original research in manuscripts, diaries, memoirs, and autobiographies, interviews, speeches, and oral histories, government documents, and newspaper articles written at the time of an event. Secondary sources can include historical studies, books that interpret or analyze, literature or book reviews, or reference resources like dictionaries or encyclopedias. Although knowing the type of document can often help you classify it as primary or secondary, it's not always enough. And sometimes, whether a source is primary or secondary depends on how you use it. Let's say you're looking at a history textbook. Are you using this textbook for background information about a topic? If so, the textbook would be considered a secondary source, since you're looking at an analysis or interpretation of past events. What if you're writing about history education in schools and are looking at the textbook itself as an example? In this case, the same text would be considered a primary source, as it serves as raw material for your own analysis. As you can see, it's not always easy. You'll need to critically assess your sources in order to determine which category they fall into. When you're faced with a source, ask yourself, who created it and when was it created? Was the author involved in the event? Does the source provide original information, or does it summarize or analyze other sources? Finally, how do you intend to use the source? If you still have questions, ask a librarian. You can reach out to us by phone or email, or just stop by the library. Thanks for watching.